Hare Krishna, it's a great honor for me to be speaking at your conference discussing Krishna consciousness in science. Looking at the agenda, there's so many fascinating talks. You have a Kandadi and Aridai Nanamaraj and Ramcharita and Murli Gopal and Devamrita Swami, just to mention a few, and of course, so many Russian scholars. One of the most important projects Prabhupada had was the Bhaktivedanta Institute, and I am honored to be the director of the Bhaktivedanta Institute for Higher Studies. The last time I was with Prabhupada was in 1977, October, in which we put on for Prabhupada, his scientists, Sri Damodar Maharaj, Gyanadas, Madhavadas, Sariputta Das, and myself, the first International Life Comes from Life conference. And Prabhupada organized the conference himself, though he was quite ill. And he couldn't even attend the conference. Nevertheless, every night he'd call the scientists into his room. He wanted our Sankirtan report. And our Sankirtan report was, what were the arguments of the reputable scientists that were invited? And some very high-level folks came. And what were our arguments? And he wanted us to speak on the basis of philosophy, not Shastra, basis of philosophy and science. And discussing something that really began for Prabhupada in his very first book, which was The Easy Journey to Other Planets. And in that book, Prabhupada praises a scientist, yet talks about the pinprick. And that pinprick came out in his famous conversation with Professor Katowski in, at that time, the Soviet Union. And in it, Prabhupada says, I talked with one big professor in Moscow, Professor Katowski. He is a leader of Indology in Moscow. So I had a talk with him for about an hour. He says, Swamiji, after the body is annihilated, everything is finished. So I was surprised. He is holding a very responsible post and known to be a good scholar. He was a good scholar, but he also does not know. And this takes us very much to the mission of the Bhaktivedanta Institute. Our mission is to present Krishna consciousness in a very credible way to people with some intelligence, some knowledge, some background to ask the good questions. Where does life come from? How did we get here? How do we know there's consciousness? What's the evidence for consciousness? How does evolution fit into all this? How does ecology fit into these themes? What about medicine and health? All of these themes are themes that Prabhupada wanted his scholars and scientists to pursue. In 1974 or 5, Prabhupada sent a letter and he said, I want all the PhDs to work with the Bhaktivedanta Institute. Of course, there was hardly 4 or 5 devotees with higher degrees then. So we worked together the best we could. About a year and a half ago, we decided to fulfill Prabhupada's wish, and we sent out a letter asking all the PhD and devotees with higher degrees in science and philosophy to gather. To our surprise, over 50 devotees showed up for a conference in Gainesville, Florida. And we had some very prominent scientists come, just as Prabhupada had us do in 1977. And we had 3 days of meetings. 450 people came to our opening public session. The mayor introduced our prominent speakers. And then the next 2 days, we had 150 registered members attend, including 5 devotees from Russia and Ukraine. And we were so delighted to meet these intelligent, articulate, and humble scientists. We see a great future for the Bhaktivedanta Institute. Prabhupada talked about in Easy Journey to Other Planets, the pinprick in society is the lack of spiritual knowledge. And Prabhupada wanted the members of the BI to seriously cultivate our own personal spiritual lives, raise our consciousness to the mode of goodness and beyond, so that we have the clear intelligence to present cogent arguments that can convince the intelligent class of people that there is more to life than matter. So I welcome you all to this wonderful conference. And in this age of the pandemic, we're actually able to engage more than before, because we've learned the art of connecting with Zoom and YouTube and other media, so that we can all engage with each other in this virtual world. So I am so pleased to be here. I'm presenting this by recording because of the time factors, but I hope to be listening to many of the recordings. And if I can be of any service to you as a director of the Bhaktivedanta Institute for Higher Studies, please do write me. Again, thank you very much, and all good wishes for a successful conference. Hare Krishna.